Hi, I'm Jo Pratt and I'm going to show you how to make a really tasty and perfectly seasoned spiced sausage and fennel rigatoni. Now the fennel is finely sliced so it cooks fairly quickly and it goes nice and soft as well, and fennel and sausage are really lovely flavours together. You don't have to use the fennel, you could add some onion if you wanted to. As for the chilli, I've got one chilli that's been finely chopped. Now I've removed the seeds just to take away that extra fieriness because I don't want it to go too hot on the chilli, but I want a bit of warmth from the flavour in there. Now while the fennel and the chilli are just softening, I'm going to prepare my sausages. Now what I have here are some good quality pork sausages. Go for the quality sausage meat rather than the actual flavour, then you'll be absolutely fine. And I've just split the outside of the skin and I'm going to take off the skin so we end up with just the meat itself. So just use a sharp knife, slice down the centre and then take out the meat. So just drop the sausage meat into here. And then you want to cook this just until it's lovely and golden. Take about 7 or 8 minutes. Just keep stirring and turning around in the pan. But before we let that do too much cooking, I'm actually going to season it with a little salt and pepper. Now to add the salt, I'm going to use the Cole & Mason electronic mill, which is great because it's effortless convenience. This meal is all about quick and easy, and I just do this with one hand. It has got the adjustment on the bottom so I can work out if I want the fine or coarse salt, and for this I'm going to do probably a medium grind for this, so just add a little into the pan, and then likewise with the pepper. I'm going to use the pepper mill on a fairly coarse setting for this, equally using the electronic mill. Ground pepper going into there for that nice warm flavour going into the sauce, and we just give that a stir around. Okay, so now the sausages, the fennel and the chilli are nicely cooked. They're really sticky and golden and it's ready to add some wine. So about 200 millilitres of white wine into the pan, then in with some chopped tomatoes, some tomato puree just to really enhance that tomato flavour in there, pinch of sugar, about a teaspoon actually is fine, and then give it a good stir. And even though the sausages are nicely seasoned, I'm actually going to add some more seasoning because the sauce will want the seasoning as well. So go for some salt, again using the electronic Cole & Mason mill. Just add a little salt to the sauce. And then for some pepper, I'm just going to turn this onto a finer setting and then add just some into the sauce. So then you won't get the huge pieces of pepper, just the really nice warmth that comes through from those peppercorns that have been sliced through in the mill. And give it a stir, and then you want to let this simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes until it's nicely thickened. And at this stage you can cook your pasta. It's very important that you salt water when you're cooking pasta, otherwise the pasta itself will taste really bland. Salt needs to be quite generous because it will just absorb a little bit of that salt. So put your mill onto a coarse setting and then with no effort whatsoever just add a really good quantity of salt into there. Now don't worry if it seems as though I'm adding quite a lot of salt. So in it goes. And then just cook that until it's al dente. And by the time that's cooked, your sauce will be ready. Okay, so the sauce is really rich and thick, and now it's ready just to add some fresh basil into there. So tear all those in. Just give them a little stir around. I'm going to turn the heat off now because the sauce is ready. I don't want it to reduce any further than this. It doesn't need to be any thicker. So by now the pasta should be al dente, which is basically when it still retains a little bit of bite. So drain this into here and just shake off all that excess water. Now I'm using rigatoni. It's a really fat, tubey pasta. You could use penne if you wanted to, but the nice thing with pasta like this is that it will absorb the sauce and it will cling around the outside of the pasta. If you used a spaghetti, that would be equally as good, but this just is nice and Italian and rustic. So let's get a nice big hearty portion in this dish. Now this is brilliant for all the family. Children will love it, adults will love it. So a good hearty portion in there. And let's just add a nice coarse grating of some Parmesan cheese over the top. And then something that is quite nice, with it being a pasta dish, just add some extra black pepper over the top for some garnish. And I'm going to do a coarse grind for this. And then seeing as we've got some here, let's just do a nice little garnish with some basil on the top. And there you have a really tasty and delicious spiced sausage and fennel pasta.